Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and
It doesn't matter what your name is!
I had to do it just one time. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, here with my brief thoughts on Black Adam. This was directed by Wami Colette-Serra, a man who has worked a lot with Liam Neeson in the past, and the movie starred The Rock, Aldous Hodge, and Pierce Brosnan, among others. And this is another installment in the DCEU. It tells the story of a man named Teth Adam, played by The Rock. 5,000 years ago, he was killed. However, before he died, he was given the powers of Shazam by the gods. But he ended up lying dormant for about 5,000 years or so. Well, he gets awoken and starts to wreak havoc, only for the Justice Society, led by Hawkman, played by Hodge, and Dr. Fate, played by Brosnan, to try and stop him. However, Teth Adam, soon to be named Black Adam, was the champion of this nation, and, well, the nation had its villains as well. I've been hearing some mixed things about this one. I've heard it say it's not that great, and other people actually praising it pretty heavily. I went into this with pretty mixed expectations, but with the one expectation being that I was going to love The Rock. Maybe it's just the pro wrestling fan in me, but, I mean, it's really hard for me to hate anything with The Rock in it. I said it was hard. I was not saying it was impossible. Now that I'm on the other side of Black Adam, I can safely say that the movie's fine. It's just fine. It has some stuff I definitely liked, stuff I definitely didn't like, and in the end, it just equated to a hearty, it's pretty good. Firstly, though, like I said, I love me some Rock, and he's one of the best parts of this movie. He's, of course, just looking real jacked, baby, so he looks the part, but he also has some pretty funny moments in here, too. Not to overtake the movie, but definitely some subtle ones. Like, for example, there's a scene where Dr. Fate is like, we need to interrogate one of the prisoners in order to find the boy. Turns out Black Adam has launched the prisoner about a few thousand feet in the air, and as Dr. Fate is saying this, the prisoner is falling down to his death. And when the prisoner hits the ground, Black Adam turns and says, I don't think he's going to make it. Again, small moments, but they work. I really like them. Also, I was more invested in the Black Adam side of things than I thought I would. I'm not super familiar with the Black Adam mythos, so I don't know if it's completely accurate or not, but from what the movie presented, I was on board with this character. I really liked what they did, and I wanted more from it, but that's not what we ended up getting. But we'll cross that bridge in a second. Aldous Hodge is really good as Hawkman, and originally when he was on screen and he was going back and forth with Black Adam, I was just sitting there like, I don't know if I like you. But by the end, he became really cool. I hope we get more from him. I mean, the DCU is just running on Looney Tunes physics, so who knows what's coming out and when, but I certainly hope that at a certain point we get something more with this character, because I would love to see more from this character. I mean, just seeing the size of this dude's estate in Louisiana, I was just sitting there like, I need to know how he pays for all of that. The biggest surprise by far was Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Now, I'm a big fan of Pierce Brosnan. I really liked his turn as James Bond, and he's been really good in other things. As long as he is not singing, we're good. But surprisingly, I like this rendition of Dr. Fate. And again, I'm not super familiar on Dr. Fate. I just know the Dr. Fate from the Young Justice TV show. He was really cool there. I think Brosnan did a really good job. He has a couple monologues in here where I was just impressed at the delivery and just how it all panned out. I thought it was done very well. In the rest of the Justice Society, we had the Tornado, which her scenes weren't as frequent, but I did like her. But I just could not stand the Atom Smasher. I feel like, and I think this is a grander point of something I just didn't like about the movie, is that I felt like the Justice Society of America was kind of a not version of the Avengers. Think about it. Hawkman is Falcon. Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange. Even Dr. Fate during some of the battles has the same technique that Doctor Strange uses. It's the same effect. Atom Smasher is supposed to be the funny one, and it comes across as cringe every single time. It really doesn't help things that his suit looks like it has the same general design as Deadpool's suit, even down to the expressive eyes, like in the Ryan Reynolds movie. It's like they tried to take Spider-Man and Deadpool from the MCU and just crash it together and say, there's your Atom Smasher. And it just did not work. No offense to this actor. I don't think it was necessarily the performance. Just the writing for this character was just not great. During a battle scene, he's trying to rescue some people, and he's like, oh, it's a good thing I didn't hit you, and he raises his fist and he hits Hawkman. And Hawkman is just looks so mad at him. And there's a couple times where he's like, you, me, spaceship. People were laughing at that. I was like, yeah, Hawkman's completely justified in his anger. Like, he's got someone on his team who's just a klutz. And that's what Atom Smasher is. He's a klutz. He's not on screen all that much, so thankfully that there is that. But yeah, he just grinded my gears. And while I think the Justice Society is a bit too much like the Avengers in terms of general design, that's something I can kind of forgive. Comic book superhero teams tend to riff off of each other. That's fine. That's not my problem. The biggest problem that I did have with the movie is that it tries to be a lot smarter than it thinks that it is, and it comes across as half-baked. There's a character, it's this really young boy. He's the son of one of the people trying to help Black Adam. There's a scene where he basically is explaining the concept of superpowers to Black Adam because, again, he's been asleep 5,000 years. And they try and inject these ideas of they drop this term called the superhero industrial complex. And it just felt so very off to me, and I really don't know why. It could be an interesting idea. I mean, in the same sentence is brought up that you could become famous and you have lunchboxes and comics printed out after you. I feel like this was supposed to be some kind of commentary, but it's never followed up on, and it just feels completely out of place. Just a couple of scenes later, there is a whole debate about the Justice Society being in this nation to begin with, and the whole foreign invader thing alongside Black Adam, who is from there and is their champion, but is doing equally bad stuff through a certain context as the Justice Society. It comes across as really it's very half-baked, like I said, and it could be very interesting if it was well realized. But it's sandwiched in between this 2-hour superhero flick, and it just didn't need to be there. Or if it was going to be there, it needed to be more realized, and it just wasn't. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I did have problems with the movie. However, I'm still going to give it a good rating, just barely into the good territory. I recommend this as, I guess, call it a matinee watch. There is potential with the Black Adam character, especially with The Rock attached, so there is that. It's a bit of a clunky movie, but overall, it was an entertaining watch. And yes, as it has been well advertised on social media and other places, there is a bit of a cameo, and by a bit, I mean a big cameo. I'm going to talk about it in this section. I will be spoiling it, so hard spoiler warning. If you do not want to hear about it, click forward to the end of the video or to this time code. But this is going to be a brief little spoiler corner, just talking about this cameo. So after the movie ends, Black Adam basically is the champion. And Amanda Waller beams in through a drone, and she's like, oh, by the way, you broke out of my prison. That's all well and good. You stay in this nation, you're fine. But if you're not, well, then I'm going to have to kill you. And Black Adam was like, yeah, sure, who you got? And Amanda Waller is like, I'm going to call in a favor. And Adam destroys the drone, but then through the smoke comes Superman, the Cavill Superman. I'm not going to lie, my jaw kind of dropped at that, because ever since the whole Snyder Cut debacle, Henry Cavill's Superman has just been way up in the air. Is he, isn't he, is he, isn't he? And it's just been a mess, and I've just hated every minute of it. I've just sat there thinking to myself, either do something with him as Superman or let him go. It's very clear that he's got options. See Mission Impossible Fallout if you want proof of that. But sure enough, there he was in all his red, gold, and blue glory. And it was honestly really cool to see. Will it lead anywhere? I really don't know. I can't see into the future. I'm not Dr. Fate. But it's pretty obvious that if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks, then it's clear that Henry Cavill's going to be Superman once again. At least for now. Did this cameo need to be in there? Probably not. But it was a nice little Easter egg, and I'm glad I stuck around for it. But what did you all think of this movie? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.